People are really confused and concerned about food and its relationship to their health. And they should be concerned, and they should be confused. It's become a very confusing subject. My name is Greg Graham. I'm a nutritional therapist, and I've written a book called Pottengers Prophecy: How Food Resets Our Genes for Illness or Wellness. So what is the situation today? We are in an epidemic of monumental proportions in terms of our health. Last year alone, in America, we spent $2.4 trillion on healthcare, and you know what? Nobody really feels good. According to the Center for Disease Control, 30% of all children born after the year 2000 will become diabetic in their lifetime. Can you even imagine that? Really, if that comes to pass, and they say it will have a profound impact on every aspect of our culture. It will really bring us socially and economically to our knees. So how did this happen? Well, in this book, we're going to talk about, really what did happen to the diet. The fundamental issue is that we no longer eat the foods that were eaten by our ancestors. Even as close as just a couple of generations ago, their diet was profoundly different. The reason this is important is that we now know there's actually a transgenerational transmission of nutritional deficiencies. In the 1930s, a doctor by the name of Francis Pottenger did a very famous study called Pottenger's cats. And what he actually showed at that time was that if you give an improper diet to cats, that it will affect their health. That makes sense. But what's profound and prophetic about Dr. Pottenger's study was that it not only affected the health of the cats, but it affected the health of the kittens and their kittens and their kittens for 3 generations, until they actually degenerated to the point where they could no longer reproduce. But it affected every aspect of their health. It affected their structure. Their faces narrowed and their teeth occluded. It affected their behavior. The kittens became, as adult cats, they went on to become either passive or very aggressive. And it affected their ability to reproduce. So what Dr. Pottenger did, after 3 generations, he reversed that diet. When he fed the experimental cats, he fed them again the whole and natural food of cats, and what he found out is he could regenerate the cats. In 4 generations, he took those cats that couldn't even reproduce, and he restored them structurally, emotionally, and sexually back into the cats of their ancestors. And so at that time, Dr. Pottenger's study was essentially rejected by science, because there simply was no known genetic mechanism where that could possibly be true. But today, the new science of epigenetics has actually shown us that it's not only possible, but that it's actually happening. So in this book, we're going to kind of define the problem, and then we're going to show you the solutions. That by getting back to a whole food, balanced diet, we can actually profoundly, in a relatively short period of time, change our health, but maybe even more important, we can affect the health of our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and our great-great-grandchildren. The unborn generations will actually be affected by the food that we choose to eat today. So there's a new movement. It's a new food movement, and this book is a part of the movement. Along with my co-authors, Deborah Keston and Larry Sherwitz, we're taking you on a journey that shows you kind of where we've gone with our food, and then we're giving you the guidelines on where we're coming back. So I'd like to invite you to read our book, join this movement, change your diet, and once again understand that food is a source of nourishment, health, joy, and balance.